Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Sam, and this is the part three of quadratic equation. So today I'm going to talk about factorization furthermore. In former video, I have talked about the difference between square and perfect square. So I'm gonna talk the real deal factorization today. Okay, so factorizing a quadratic equation mean like, let's say we have a quadratic equation of x squared plus 5x plus 6, and we factorize it into x plus 2 and x plus 3. This is just an example. I'm going to show you how to do it and how to do it more properly. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are just factorizing this whole trinomial. This is a trinomial here into these two binomial, isn't it? So each part of this term contain an x and then a constant, an x and then a constant, and then the product of it should become back into a squared plus 5x plus 6, isn't it? Because this is the way how multiplication and division work, isn't it? So how do we already know how to multiply two binomial, isn't it? We will use file method. Okay, I'm going to talk about file method a little bit here. Okay, so file. What is file method? File method is when you multiply two binomials. F is for first, so you're gonna multiply 2 in the first, so it's going to become x squared, isn't it? It's multiply x squared, and then we're gonna multiply O. O is for outside or outer. So where are the outer? The outer are x and 3, isn't it? Because it exists on the outside of this whole term. So x and 3 is becoming plus 3x. And then we're going to multiply I, inner or inside. So the two inside of this term is 2 and x. So it's become 2x. And then we're going to multiply lots. So two lots word here are two constant. 2 times 3 is 6. So this becomes 5x. So it will come back into it. So the question here is, how do we do? How do we going to separate it into these two terms? And then, as I said before, this two term is going to equal 0 because we're gonna make this one into 0. If it doesn't equal to 0, we're gonna make it become to 0 by sending this number here to there, and then it's gonna become 0. And each part of this term is equal 0, and then we're gonna find two solutions from this part. So today I'm going to show how to factorize it properly. There are a lot of ways we can use to factorize it, to consider it. So I'm going to use today is for cross-out method, and I'm going to show you guys in detail in today's video. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's talk about it. Okay, when I'm just going to use the former example again. So my equation here is a squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so a quadratic equation most of the time have three parts. When it's come to factorization, we're gonna think it into three parts. The first part is the multiplication of sorry. So the first part is like the multiplication of two variables as we do earlier. So it's going to be x squared because we have and x maybe like different coefficient, maybe like 2x, 3, it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna have x. And the second part is like the combination of this and that, and oh sorry, this and that and this and that, isn't it? So the first part it comes from first. As we say earlier, the first word comes from first. This is like the product of the first two part, from term. The second part comes from O plus I. It comes from the multiplication of two outside things into inside thing and combine it together. We can combine it because they come in the same power. Maybe like the x in power to the power of 1. So it's becoming O plus I. The last part is L. So this is like the product of two constant, two numerical value. Okay, so this is how we do it. But when we do it, we're gonna do it more properly. This is just how I show you how to do it more properly. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it together. I'm gonna show you how to do it. But oh yes, of course, all of the quadratic equation cannot be factorized like this because some of the quadratic equation have like different values when it's come to the data from like environment or like outside in real world. The number doesn't work that way, so it's just harder to factorize it. But I just showing you a method we can solve when in terms academic or in school or something like that. But factorization method doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't really, you can't really use it when it's come to applying to application mathematics. Okay, but I'm just gonna show you an insight here. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, I'm also going to use the formal equation again. Okay, so x squared plus 5x plus 6. This is the equation that we have used. So as we said earlier, this should come from first. So it means like it should come from multiplication of two first words. So let's think about this. To become x squared, the only way we can factorize x is x, isn't it? Because only x can make something into x squared. So we know that for sure. There is another way. So we have 6 over here. Okay, we have to think about it. Because 6 is like, we have to talk about it. 6 is the multiplication of the numeric behind, or like at the last of the term. You can say last. So this is the last part of the term. So there are a lot of numbers that can become 6, right? 2 times 3 is also 6. 6 times 1 is also 6. So there is a lot of way we can make it into 6. Okay, so for obvious reason, I'm gonna use 2 times 3. But in some cases, we should use 6 times 1, and so on. Okay, and then we're supposed to think about, okay, let's talk about 2 and 3 first. Okay, and then this combination. So as I tell earlier, this number is O plus L. What it is mean it should come from multiplication of outside values and inside values together. So this could come as a combination. what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to multiply this pair and think about, could it be able to make it into 5x? Okay, so let's think about it. This is 3x, this is 2x. So 2x and 3x, we're going to combine it together. It comes into 5x, right? We're going to use positive signs. So these two terms are x plus 2 and x plus 3. According to our calculation, let's check it out if it is possible, if we are correct. Okay, so let's use our method. We're going to multiply first and first. It's going to become a squared. And then we're going to multiply outside to is plus 3x. We're going to multiply inside to is plus 2x. And then we're going to multiply less. So it's going to become 6. So the equation is becoming 8 squared plus 5x plus 6. So this is working. What we do so far is working. But this is not that simple. Okay? Why? Because we can also use other number. The number that we have not used this time. Right? We can also use like, let's say, 6 times 1. Where 6 times 1 can become 6. What about we're going to use like plus 6 is minus 1. So it's going to become like 6x here in minus 1. So it also becoming plus 5x, isn't it? Why it cannot work in? Okay, let's check our answer if it's working here. So x plus 6 and x minus 1. So it's going to become like 8 squared for first part. Outside part is minus x. Inside part is 6x. And outside is minus 6. Wow. Okay. So you can see it here. Minus 1 and minus 6 combining, multiplying together doesn't make positive 6, isn't it? It doesn't make it. It doesn't work that way. Right? You can make it into 5x, of course, but the last part becoming minus 6. It doesn't work. So I'm going to show you how can we, memorize it. I'm going to show a term for you guys to memorize it when we factorize it. So it's going to be easier for you guys to understand it and to make it more sense, okay? So I'm going to show you a few tricks here. So if a quadratic equation comes with positive in the middle and then negative in the last, we're going to factorize these two parts into negative and then positive. And then we're going to determine like the middle word is positive. So when it's come to combine it, we're gonna have to get the answer of positive. So it's got to be bigger. I want you to memorize it, okay? It has to be bigger because we want positive in the middle. And then the negative. So it means something negative means two different number of different signs are multiplying each other. It will make it negative. Okay. If we have positive and positive, which is quite easy, like the example we do before, we're supposed to use 2 positive because multiplying 2 positive will become positive, adding 2 positive will become positive. Okay? For the third part, it has like negative and positive. Sorry. Sorry. So to make a number positive, we're supposed to multiply two same sign. It doesn't matter. It can be negative, it can be positive, but we're supposed to multiply two same sign. So to get the negative in the middle, the only way we can make a negative in the middle is just combining something that has a bigger negative sign. But if we use bigger negative and smaller positive, the multiplying result will come with like negative. So the only way that will make sense is using two negative terms. So it's going to become multiplying to negative will become positive, and adding to negative will become negative. Okay? And then the only part that have left us is negative and negative. Okay, I feel like you guys get the idea. Okay, so to get different signs, we're supposed to use different sign, isn't it? We can use different sign. So we're supposed to use different sign. We're supposed to use different sign, isn't it? So to get negative in the middle, we're gonna have to use a negative number which is bigger. Okay? So I want you guys to screenshot this because it will come to use it later. Okay? So this is how we're gonna do factorization here. Okay? So let's try a few examples. Okay. So the example I have used is, okay, let's use the example like a squared plus 7x plus 6. So the first word should be x and x, as the only way to make a square is just using x and x. The last word should be six in one. Why do I use six in? For obvious reason. Only way to make positive is just using two positive number and then six in one. Is it working? Yes, it worked because the middle number is just O plus I. So if we multiply x and then 6x, same sign, so it will become 7x, right? So the term is going to be 8 plus 6, x plus 1. If you want to check your answer, if it's correct, you can do it. You're free to do so, okay? So this is the example where we use two positive number and become with two positive sign. Okay, so let's use other sign. This time, let's use different number. A squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay, we have different numbers here. So the only way to make a squared is just x and x. And then we have 12. There is a lot of way we can make it 12. So we have positive signs, so it means we're supposed to use two same sign. and we have negative in the middle, so the combination should be negative. So we're gonna use two negative signs for obvious reason. So this is the first, and at the last, we're gonna use 12. So two negative sign, 12 can use 5 times 2 is 10. Sorry, 5 times 2 is, what about 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12, right? And minus 3 minus 4 will become 7. So I feel like this is working. So when we use it, we use, this is O plus I. We use this cross to multiply and combine, and this like diagonal to take the term. So you're supposed to take term diagonally, and you're supposed to multiply and combine in cross manner. Okay? So 3x minus 3x and minus 4x will become 7x. So I think this is working. X minus 3, x minus 4. Okay? I want you to check it yourself if it's correct. Okay? Okay. This time, let's use 3x squared minus 14x minus 5. Okay. So the only way to make 3x here is 3x in x, isn't it? And then x and x. And then we're supposed to use two negative signs. And the middle is negative sign. And the later negative sign indicate like we're supposed to use different sign. And the middle is indicating like their combination should be negative. So we're going to use bigger negative signs and smaller positive sign. Okay? So the only way to separate 5 is just into 5 times 1. So we're going to use 1 times 5. I'm going to use 1 times 5 because 5 is being negative and 1 is being positive. Why? So if we multiply 3 and 5, it's going to become minus 15x, and it will become positive x. So the answer will be negative 14x. This is the only way here. Okay? So you're supposed to use cross to multiply and combine, and you're supposed to use diagonal when it's come to taking it. Okay, so the answer would be 3x plus 1, x minus 5. I just given it a good and an easy example, but when we really do it, it isn't really that much easy. Okay, so you're supposed to think it, you're supposed to try it, you're supposed to check your answer. Okay, if you can't do it at all, it means this particular kind of the equation cannot be solved with factorization, and we're gonna solve this particular things using other method I'm going to show in later in the series. Okay, so let's check other things. Okay, this time we're going to use a squared plus x minus 6 as an example. Okay, so the only way to make x is a squared is just x and x. Minus 6 mean we'd have to use different sign. Positive mean positive has to be larger. It's just quite easy. We have to subtract it. So the only way is 3 times 2. 3x into x minus 2x will become positive x, isn't it? 3x minus 2x will become positive x. So this is the correct way. I want you to check my answer by yourself, and you can also find out if I was wrong. So I want you to memorize it, how to use it as I show you the shortcut before. And I want you to try the exercise sheet that I will put in the description box. Okay? So I feel like this is all for today. And see you in the later in the series. Goodbye, everyone, for now. Bye bye.